Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. My name is Anrivere Before we start, I want to give a special thanks to Mr. Aji Ramdhani as our lecturer and all of my friends for having me today. It was an honor to be with you. And I'm here to deliver a presentation about something interesting. I have a question for you guys. What do you know about task-based learning and teaching English? If you know the answer, don't be afraid to share your thoughts with me, and please write it down in the comment section if you want to answer it. This presentation is based on the implementing the task-based learning in teaching English in Indonesia journal conducted by Muhammad Badrul Soleh, published on 1st September 2020, and I put the link to the journal in the description below. So, without further ado, let's get started. Even though we will talk about the implementation of task-based learning English in Indonesia, I want to highlight that the topics that we're going to talk about. First is the benefits of implementing the task-based learning English in Indonesia. Second, the problem of it. So the problem of implementing the task-based learning for English in Indonesia. So we will not discuss outside of what just I mentioned to you. Coming up next is the definition of task-based learning itself. So the definition of task-based learning. Nunan describes that tasks as activities that can stand alone as fundamental units and involve authentic language comprehension, manipulations, interactions, while emphasizing meanings rather than forms. Willis said, tasks provide the necessary exposure to and language usage opportunities needed to acquire the target language, because the tasks are typically performed in pairs of groups. Exposure occurs when students listen to the teacher's instructions, to the speech of their friends, and when they have to read handouts to complete their task. When learners have to communicate, they will acquire to communicate faster and more efficiently. The conclusion is the task-based learning is a method that focuses on the students to do assignment given by the teacher in order to provide the necessary exposure and language usage opportunities needed to acquire the target language. Okay? That's the definition of task-based learning. And next, we move on to the benefit and the problem of implementing it in Indonesia. So here are the benefits of implementing the task-based learning in Indonesia. First, task-based learning makes students connect precipitously. The students are allowed to use any vocabulary and grammar they learn. For example, a role play needs the students to openly use words. It gives the students the opportunity to evaluate their vocabulary. It additionally shows students to learn benefit from certain words, thereby increasing their trust level, and the cognitive ability and communication skills of the learner are established in the course of task. Students' attention is based on problem solving rather than on individual language systems, and it also inspires more motivated students. Second, the automaticity. Automaticity of acquiring language. Automation for language learning is intended to improve efficiency, accuracy, and stability. Third, the task-based learning allows language learners to master vocabulary, because in general, teachers are responsible for teaching and students do not participate. So this one more like a student center. Okay. And next, to the fourth, maximize the communication scope. Task-based learning offers students the condition to acclimatize what they feel and comprehend when carrying out the task. Task empower students to learn and acclimatize the language components they effectively perceive and comprehend. They allow students to create their recently gained knowledge into new communications context creatively. Okay. Now, we can move on to the problems, okay? Okay, hold up for a second. As a refreshment part, I want you to do this. So, follow me and focus, okay? Make a high five. Like this. Right? This is my left hand, not right. Okay? See this and follow this. Focus. Follow me and focus. Okay. When I say 3, 2, 1, do this. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this?
I will eat your brain.
Okay. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's just a refreshment part. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about the problem of implementing the task-based learning in Indonesia, especially in English learning. First, the teacher with limited language proficiency. So when the teachers want to integrate task-based learning in the EFL or English for Foreign Language classroom, they should have sufficient language skills to guide and model student learning. So if the teacher doesn't have these skills, not guaranteed actually, probably he or she will find it maybe kind of hard to implement it, because his or her language proficiency is not good enough, while this method is requiring it. Okay, and the next is inadequate teacher training in the task-based learning methodology, and this could be an issue unless the teacher are trained in the task-based learning. So yeah, if there's a teacher never trained for the task-based learning before, they will find some issue when implementing this type of teaching, just like the above statement. Okay, and then traditional examination based syllabi. So numerous teachers are worried that TBL or task-based learning will sabotage students' opportunity of success in conventional exam. Particularly if they put more emphasis on grammar and consistency than on the ability to communicate appropriately. And then the last one is the lack of sufficient resources. So resource can allow to time, location, technology tools, and typical supplementary materials, and so on. Now let's get on to the conclusions. So the conclusion is, task-based learning is a learning method that focuses on the students to do an assignment that given by the teacher in order to provide necessary exposure and language usage opportunities needed to acquire the target language. And there are some benefits in implementing the task-based learning in Indonesia, especially for English learning. First, task-based learning makes students connect precipitously. Second, the automaticity of acquiring language. Third, task-based learning allows a language learner to master vocabulary. And fourth, maximize the communication scopes. But it also have some drawbacks. As usual, if there are benefits, there are drawbacks. First, the teachers with limited language proficiency will be an issue for this type of teaching. And second, inadequate teacher training in TBL methodology also gonna be an issue for this type of teaching. Third, the traditional examination based syllabi, and the last one is lack of sufficient resources. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for having me in these presentations, and I guess that's all that I can explain to you about the implementing of task-based learning in Indonesia, especially for English learning. And if some of my words make you upset, I'm so sorry. And let me close these presentations with great quotes. Teaching is not about information, it's about having an honest intellectual relationship with your students. I am Anrivere Muhammad Aska Sugiarto, and see you next time.